make sure you guys can see everything. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, I started to go live, you guys, and first of all, how are you? Second of all, I started to go live like a minute ago. I don't know if you saw that, but I completely forgot to put my microphone on and plug it in. I am a little under the weather. I usually don't like to say that or put that into words, but it was funny. Yesterday I was looking back on day one, I was rewatching the workshop from yesterday, and I was like, man, why do I look so tired? And then about an hour later, after I got done with the workshop yesterday, I just got so sick. I had a fever, and I just spent the rest of the day in the bathtub, and I had to prep for today. But yeah, I looked back at yesterday. I'm like, man, I look tired. And then all of a sudden I realized it's because I was getting sick. So I am under the weather. So bear with me. I had a fever yesterday, and but I'm coughed up. So I'm ready to do this today. So thanks for joining. I'm going to give you a couple minutes for everyone to jump on. Again, I know I'm doing these during the week and at lunchtime. So a lot of you have to watch on the replay. Totally awesome. So today we are on day 2 of your Best Year Yet 2023. And day 2 is all about setting effective goals. So that's what we're going to do today. We're actually going to set effective goals. So if you missed yesterday's workshop, these all kind of build on each other. So there's exercises homework to do in each day. So if you missed yesterday, definitely you can still be with us live today and still watch this one, but go back because you'll want to do that homework first before moving on to this. So yesterday we talked about there was 3 pieces of homework, 3 things that we covered. We talked about your future self, which is really how you can really visit your future and see what you envision. What is it that you want in your life a year from now? The second thing we talked about was actually turning that into a vision. So we talked about different areas in your life and describing each of those in detail. What do you want? And then today we're actually going to set effective goals from that vision. So why are goals so important? Goals are... There's something yesterday I talked about creating your vision it's at the destination in your GPS. That's what goals are like. They give you something to work towards. They give you something to measure to see, am I closer to where I want to be? So they give you something you can measure off of and evaluate. And hands down, I feel like I 100% believe we always achieve more when we have goals. And I know people who don't set goals. I know successful people who don't set goals. And I'm like, if you set goals, you would be even more successful. Okay, because I feel like when we set a goal, we're able to stretch ourselves further than we thought that we could. It's we're just able to get more in when we have that set goal. So they're so important. And like I said, for just having a distinct destination in your mind of where we're going. So goal setting is so effective, okay? And we're going to talk about effective goal setting, because there's goal setting, but then there's effective goal setting. So if you are someone who maybe sets goals every year, and you're someone who set goals in your past and maybe you just let the goals go, you don't stick, you're not consistent with it, we're going to talk about how to set effective goals today. So let's talk about what we're going to cover in day 2 of our workshop, Set Effective Goals. So today we're going to cover effective goal setting. Like I said, there's goal setting and then there's effective goal setting. So we're going to cover effective goal setting. Next, we're going to cover our goal setting plan that I'm going to set up with you guys. And then third, we're going to talk about setting up your year, your 2023 year. And then lastly, I'm going to give you guys a bonus exercise, and that's going to be called the 1-year goal. Okay? So let's talk about what is effective goal setting. Okay, I want to make sure you guys can see the whole screen here. Okay, what is effective goal setting? There are good ideas, and then there is effective goal setting. Okay, so I have I have clients come to me, whether it's on consult or even on our very first session, we go over like what are the concrete goals that they want to see by the end of our time working together. And a lot of times people just have ideas, right? They're like, I want to have a better relationship with my husband. Right? I want to, right? My goal is to lose weight. My goal is to have a better relationship. My goal is to find a new job. My goal is to make more money. Like, I've had people with all these different goals. Okay, but there's good ideas and then there's effective goal setting. So what I walk them through is we need to be more specific, right, with our goals. Because that's a good idea, right? I want to buy a new house, right? I really want to get out of my apartment and get a house. That's what I just had a client say to me this past week. I'd really like to get out of an apartment and get a house. Okay, which is a great idea, but there's good ideas and then there's effective goal setting. So when we set goals, we want them to be specific and measurable, okay? We want to actually know if we've achieved them, okay? So they need to be specific, they need to be measurable. How much and by when? That's a great way, like a great model to set up your goal. How much by when? And then third, I put stated in the positive. So again, a lot of times I'll have people on consults or our first session goal setting and they'll say, I don't want this. Okay, like my goal is to not have this. And it's like I always say, like we want our goal to be stated in the positive. What do we want? Okay, because it's easier for our brain to, if we say we don't want something, our brain just hears it wants it. It just hears that, okay? So we want to say what we want and always be feeding that into our subconscious. What do we want, not what we don't want. So we want our goals specific and measurable, how much and by when, and stated in the positive. And right here I put just kind of like the how much and by when, I will blank by blank, okay? I will be going on 3 date nights per month by, I don't know, 2 months from now, okay? I will weigh 125 pounds by March 31st, okay? I will own a home in Plymouth by March 31st. Again, we'll just use the first quarter. Okay, so what do I want? I will own a new home. I will find a partner. I will weigh this amount. I will make this much more money. I will make 10% more per year by this date. Okay, so I will what by when? And then here I want to talk about with goals, I put measuring immeasurables. So I do have clients. I signed a client last weekend, and what she said on her consult is she wanted to feel differently. That was her main objective. That was her main goal. It wasn't I want to this specifically. It was 100% I just want to feel better. Like I don't want to feel resentment, which is not stated in the positive. So I did say, okay, if you don't want to feel resentment, what do you want to feel? And it was like forgiveness, it's like forgiveness and confidence and empowered and peace, right? Like, so we pulled those things out. So when I talk about measuring immeasurables, it doesn't mean that you can't have a goal maybe your goal is just to feel better. Maybe your goal is to feel happy. Maybe your goal is to feel peace. Like you don't want to feel anxious anymore. That can absolutely be a goal. If you really decide how to measure, because we call those like immeasurable, right? Like it's not measurable as far as like getting on a scale or saying, yes, I have a home, check that off the list. It's like measuring an immeasurable, and that's okay. We can absolutely still do that. You just need to ask yourself and set up a plan. How will I know I have achieved this? Okay, so how will I know that I'm feeling more peace? Like we had to specifically walk through it. Okay, well, I won't have as many crashes. What's a crash? It's a drinking binge. Okay, so let's keep track of how many times do I binged this month, right? Compared to, okay, a month from now coaching, how many times did I do that? Right? Like how can we measure if we're making progress? That's measuring and immeasurable. Still totally doable. We just want to be conscious that we are figuring out a way that you are going to keep track of that. So maybe one of your goals is that. I want to feel more peace. I want to feel happy. I want to feel better, okay? Absolutely okay if that is one of your goals for 2023, but ask yourself, how will I know? And think of a plan, how you're going to measure that. How are you going to know? And then also I put here another way you can measure immeasurables is to get more specific with the goal. So if your goal is to feel more peace, then maybe you can think to yourself, okay, what would give me peace? And make that the goal, okay? Like maybe, I'm just doing this off the top of my head, and I'm sick, so I feel like I can't even think clear. But maybe it's like meditating 3 times a week or something. Like, so that's your goal. I will meditate 3 times a week. I will be in the routine of meditating 3 times a week by, the end of the first quarter of the year or whatever. Maybe that's like your goal. And again, that's a way you can measure an immeasurable is first, how will you know? Think of a plan. And then second, can you get more specific with the goal? Can you figure out what would make you feel better? What would make you feel happy? What would make you feel less resentment? All these things, and then make a more specific goal out of there, okay? So now let's talk about your goal setting plan, okay? So for your goal setting plan for 2023, I want you guys to think in quarters. So each quarter, so January, February, and March would be your first quarter. I want you to choose 1 to 3 areas from your vision. So in day 1, you created a vision, right? Like a vision for your year, a year's vision. And you had all of those different categories in there. Remember, spirituality, and you made your own, but spirituality and physical health and emotional health. You had all of those different categories. I want you to each quarter choose 1 to 3 areas from that list, from your vision, and then you're going to create 3 smaller goals from those 1 to 3 areas. And these 3 smaller goals, these are things that can be achieved within that time frame, within a 1 to 3 month time frame. And smaller goals are so effective because they're easy to achieve. And when we can achieve our goals, it really feeds our belief and gets us in the routine. So we want to keep things small and simple. And then that will feed the process of like then being able to create more goals and bigger goals. And you have that trust with yourself and you know that you're actually going to achieve them. Okay? So again, every quarter I want you to pick 1 to 3 areas from your vision that you created, those different areas. And then you're going to create 3 smaller goals from among those 3 areas, okay? And these are smaller goals. They can be achieved in a 1 to 3 month time frame, okay? So small, achievable goals. And here, I really want to just touch on constraint, okay? Constraint equals momentum. So I know so many coaches out there who teach the strategy of like balance, right? Like balancing things and working on different things consistently. And I really like to have my clients use constraint because I truly believe, I should take that back. Usually when people reach out to me, it's because they really want transformation in their life. And usually that comes down to an area or 2 that are really, really like a pain point for them. And I really believe like constraint brings momentum. Like if you focus on an area specifically, that's how you're going to really make change in that area, like gain momentum in that area. And then once you really have that ball rolling and you really have momentum and you really feel like you have it down, then move on to the next. So I really want you guys to keep that in mind, is if there is something that you really want to focus on, using constraint is so powerful for you in getting results. So not trying to spin all the plates at once, but saying, you know what, I really want to transform my relationship. I really want to make more money. I really want to, up level my career. I really want to start that business. I really want to lose weight. Like, you really want to transform this area of your life. It's so important. A lot of people just, they like dip their toe in that, but they're trying to do all these things, right? They're like, I want to transform my relationship, but I also need to be focusing on this, 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 and this. And it's like, constraint is what gets you momentum in an area of your life that you really want to transform, okay? So keep that in mind moving into 2023 is keep in mind that you might need to use constraint. Maybe that's not something you've done in the past, and you need to kind of push everything else out for an allotted amount of time, because some people are like, well, I can't just push this and this to the side. It's like, you can focus on something. It doesn't mean you're not going to, it doesn't mean forever, but for an allotted amount of time, maybe you need to put that area first, okay? Really focus on it in order to get momentum. So that's just something I wanted to talk about in constraint, is getting momentum in an area, okay? So maybe you just choose one area. Maybe you're like, okay, this area is really important to me right now, or like I'm in desperate need in this area. Maybe you only pick one area and you create 3 goals for that. Or maybe you pick 3. Maybe you're not like, oh my gosh, this area. So maybe you're looking for an overall better quality of life, because I get clients like that too. And they're like, no, I just want to feel happier. I want to have a balanced life, and they want to set goals in all of them. That's totally fine. I just wanted to make sure I touched on constraint for the people who needed it. Now let's talk about setting up your year. Okay, so this is where it gets exciting. You're going to make a plan for 2023. Okay, so this is like quarter 1, January 1st through March 31st. So you can make this like on your doc or on a piece of paper. So we're going to set up your entire year. Okay, so quarter 1, January 1st through March 31st. What are the areas that you're choosing? Remember, you're choosing 1 to 3 areas from your vision. So maybe it's your emotional health, your relationship, and money. Okay? Then you're going to make 3 goals pertaining to those. Or maybe you just pick one area. Maybe you're like my relationship, and you're going to make 3 different goals for that area. Okay? Totally up to you. Each quarter, pick 1 to 3 areas that you want to work on, and then choose 3 goals that pertain to those areas. Okay? And again, your effective goal is going to say, I will blank by blank. I will do what by what date. I will have this much by this date. Okay? Again, I will be going on 3 date nights a week by this date. I will weigh 125 pounds by March 31st. Like, I will make $10,000 extra dollars more than last year by the end of the year. Like, whatever it is. I want you guys to make your 3 goals and set your 1 to 3 areas. Okay, then move on to quarter 2. And I want you to think again. Okay, what are the 1 to 3 areas I want to work on in quarter 2? What are my goals? And maybe you continue on, right? Maybe you want to lose a substantial amount of weight. So you're like, okay, I want to lose this much by here, lose this much by here. Or maybe you want to make more money. So you're like, okay, I want to make this much more by this date, and then in second quarter of the year, I want to make this much more, okay? And then make all of your goals, okay? Again, then you want to move on to quarter 3, quarter 4. And by the end of doing this, you're going to have your whole year laid out so that you can see exactly the improvement you're going to be making in your chosen areas. Maybe, again, maybe you want to pick the same areas for the whole year. Maybe you're like, I really need to transform my relationship. I really need to change my financial situation. Okay, maybe you work on that in each quarter. Totally up to you. But plan out your year and make all of your goals. And then once you do that, I want you guys to put them on note cards, okay? So take your first quarter, do this one at a time though. Take your first quarter and take your 3 goals, and I want you to put them on a note card and note cards, and put them on like a binder ring, and just keep them in your purse, keep them in your drawer, like make multiples, and just keep them at the forefront. So don't be scared when you see mine. This is by like 3 ring, but I actually have I have my whole like vision in here. So I have like my vision in here, then I have my goals, I have them broken down into what actions I'm taking, and there's a lot of just empty in the back because I keep adding to it, like as the time goes by. So this is so powerful. I don't know why I got this this idea from Success Principles, Jack Canfield. A lot of this came from that, but I can't tell you like the difference between actually writing them down and having them on note cards. I don't know why it makes it so much more powerful, but it 100% does. Like it's like you can like just really focus on those 3 things. It's always at the forefront of your mind. You're like, oh, there's my 3 goals. There's my 3 goals. And you just constantly know what you're working towards. It's so powerful. So I really encourage you to do that simple little exercise. Like do each quarter And each quarter, write those goals down on some note cards and just keep them with you in your purse. Keep a set in your nightstand, somewhere that you see them a lot. And then, so that's setting up your year for 2023. And then the bonus here is I want you guys to, and this is optional, but super powerful. The bonus is, so as we planned your year, those were smaller goals, right? You want those to be smaller goals that can fit into each category. I guess I should have kind of talked more about that. But again, you want these to be smaller goals that fit into that time frame. So these 3 goals, I will do blank by blank. You want these to be achievable within the 1 to 3 month time frame. Again, 1 to 3 months, 1 to 3 months. So these are smaller goals, okay, to keep us moving. Because it's so important. Sometimes when we set like big goals, we get too overwhelmed by that. And then it just becomes this thing that our brain just shuts off and we're like, nope, not doing that. We're like, I want to transform this, and you set these huge goals, and it becomes too overwhelming, and we don't believe that we can get there. So the power of setting up your year this way and doing small, achievable goals is, it's like, I love this example I heard Mel Robbins talk about, and I know I've talked about it in previous videos and podcasts, but she talks about like the Lego wall being your big goal. Okay, like being the thing that you really want. And when we look at that huge Lego wall, it's so overwhelming. But each of those Legos is just a small action, right? It's just a small, like, progress, just small actions that we do until we build this big wall. That's like the life that we really want, the results that we really want. So that's why this is so important, is like we need to make things small chunks and more achievable. And so that we start making that progress without overwhelming ourselves. And then the cool thing is, like, once you start like just, banging these out, it's like 1 to 3 month goals, these small things, then you can get in the routine of like, now I can stretch myself and I can make bigger goals because I've proven to myself I can do this. Proven to myself I can do like this goal, these small goals. Now I can do bigger ones or more of them. Next year I'm going to do 5 goals, 8 goals, right? But we want to start small and get into the routine, because most people make goals, they set goals every year, they have good intentions, but they don't stick to them. Okay, they're not sticking to their goals. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, I've set tons of goals, I don't stick to them. It's like we overwhelm ourselves. And now we don't even believe ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to actually get results. We don't believe in ourselves. So this is so powerful. Smaller, achievable, doable goals are going to do wonders for you. And then you work up to making bigger goals, okay? So these are smaller, achievable goals, 1 to 3 months. And then your bonus is maybe you want to have a big 1-year goal, like a big goal that you're going to say, okay, by the end of 2023, I'm going to have this done. Okay, like I'm going to have my business started. I'm going to have 10 clients. I'm going to have 20 clients, like whatever it is. I'm going to make, this amount of money. Okay, like a big year goal that you're going to work on for the whole year. Okay, so this is your chance to make that big goal versus the smaller goals that we just talked about. And again, this is just a bonus to add in here for the people who really want a big goal. This is your chance. Make your 1-year goal. So set your quarters and then make your overall like big 1-year goal. So that is it for today. Set your goals. Tomorrow we are going to take those goals and we are going to break them down, and we're actually going to create your year, like your action plan for the year. So then we're going to take these goals and we're actually going to talk about how we're going to implement them and how we're going to take action, how we're going to achieve them, right? If we want a better relationship, how are we going to do that, right? We want to be a better parent. We want to spend, more time with our kids. Like, how are we actually going to execute that? We want to make this much more money per quarter or per year. How am I going to do that? Okay, we're going to break it down and make it simple, like an action plan that you can work towards to actually meet your goals. And then we're going to talk about the all-important topic of overcoming obstacles, because all that stands between you and the goal, you and the thing that you want, are the roadblocks, are the obstacles in between. So if we can find a way to get through those obstacles, your success is inevitable, right? That's all that's standing between you and your goal. So we need to find out what those are, and we need to find a way to get through those. So super awesome information tomorrow. It's where we really wrap this all up. Again, if you missed the first video, go back, watch that, do the homework there, and then go through and do this work. And I will see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message, ask any questions. You can also comment in the video, and I will make sure to come back and answer those. Okay, I love you guys. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.